The lights in the Capitol chamber were blinding, the tension so thick you could almost taste it. Cameras rolled from every angle, and the atmosphere felt less like a debate and more like a battlefield. Millions of Americans tuned in, restless, angry, and desperate for answers. And at the center of it all sat Senator John Kennedy, calm, collected, and with the unmistakable glint of a man who had come prepared for war, not with insults or theatrics, but with cold, undeniable facts. Across from him was Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her fiery passion radiating as she leaned forward on the desk. She had made a name for herself as one of the strongest voices of her generation, and tonight, she was ready to go toe-to-toe with one of Washington's most seasoned veterans. Supporters of both sides buzzed with energy, waiting for sparks to fly. The moderator barely finished asking the first question before I launched into a sweeping critique of conservative policies. Her words were sharp, her delivery smooth, and for a moment, the room leaned her way. She spoke of justice, equality, and the failures of the past. But Kennedy didn't flinch. He listened carefully, pen in hand, his expression unreadable. And when she finished, the silence was deafening. Then, he leaned into the microphone. His voice, slow and deliberate, carried a weight that silenced the murmurs in the audience. "Congresswoman," Kennedy began, "passion is a wonderful thing, but passion without facts is like a house built on sand. So let's get to the facts." What followed was nothing short of a political storm. Kennedy began dismantling argument after argument, not with sarcasm or mockery, but with statistics, data, and historical evidence. He cited government reports, independent studies, and even past statements made by members of her own party. Each point landed like a hammer, steady and unshakable. I pushed back, as she always did, fiery, unrelenting, her words driven by conviction. But every time she countered, Kennedy calmly pulled out another piece of truth, another undeniable figure that chipped away at her narrative. At one point, he paused, adjusted his glasses, and asked simply, "Congresswoman, do you know how much of every tax dollar actually goes to the programs you've mentioned tonight?" Her hesitation was brief, but it was enough. Kennedy filled the silence with the exact number, then broke it down in plain English for every viewer watching at home. By the time he was finished, even those who disagreed with him couldn't deny the force of what they had just heard. What made it powerful wasn't just the facts it was the way Kennedy delivered them. He wasn't cruel, he wasn't dismissive. He acknowledged the concerns of everyday Americans, validated their fears and hopes, but reminded them that solutions must rest on truth, not illusions. Some in the chamber began nodding. Even a few Democrats shifted uncomfortably in their seats as Kennedy peeled back layers of political theater to reveal hard realities. It wasn't just talk he was debating, it was an entire ideology that had grown louder and louder but had often failed to back itself with evidence. By the end of the exchange, the room felt transformed. X's fire had dimmed, not because she lacked passion, but because passion alone couldn't stand against the immovable wall of facts Kennedy had presented. When the moderator called time, the audience erupted not with boos or jeers, but with stunned applause. The cameras captured it all. Clips spread across social media within minutes. Headlines the next morning screamed of Kennedy's takedown, of how he had annihilated his opponents with nothing more than truth spoken plainly. But for Kennedy, it wasn't about winning points or headlines. Later, when asked about the moment, he simply said, "Facts are stubborn things. My job isn't to win an argument, it's to remind the American people of what's real." The story struck a chord nationwide. In a world drowning in noise, anger, and division, Kennedy's calm reliance on truth became a rare beacon. People who had never agreed with him before admitted they were forced to stop and think. And for many, that night became a reminder that leadership isn't about who yells the loudest, it's about who can stand firm on the ground of reality when the storm rages around them. The inspiring message lingered long after the cameras shut off. Passion can move hearts, but truth is what shapes the future.